DonInLondon, hello. It's January 2nd, 2009. 2009 already. Where did last year go? My video is all about recovery from addiction to either substance or behaviour. My substance, alcohol; my behaviour, workaholic, relationshipaholic, anything you can talk about as an ism, I guess, which is to do with addiction. So for me, I do these videos to, I guess, share experience, strength and hope of how life can be in recovery. And I'm just one example, so one example is not enough. And what I found essential for my recovery and to be in recovery, that's recovery one day at a time, never fully recovered, because once we're addicted, I do believe that it's very difficult to say we are fully recovered, because if we do, then it's suggested that we might go back and do the same thing over again. And what I've learned over and over again is there is no return to an addictive substance or behaviour, especially behaviour, in the same way. So where am I today? Well, lots of people have been saying, what about the 12 steps of AA, the action steps which makes life possible in recovery and being sober? And again, it's not the only way. We find our way to sobriety, whatever it might be, and then we discover something rather special, that is, what it's like to be ordinary and normal, which I find very extraordinary for me. So in my recovery, extraordinary living is simply not drinking one day at a time, and then life seems to work. So I need to put my sobriety first, otherwise I tend to go backwards rather than forwards, and backwards would be towards thinking I could do it with a drink inside me. I don't believe that is so. So I'm part of the fellowship of AA, but I don't speak for it. Nobody speaks for AA, it's just a fellowship of people. And on this little card I've been holding, it's got the AA preamble, which is said at every meeting. And meetings are crucial to my recovery, as is doing the 12 steps. So the preamble, which is shared at every AA meeting, goes like this. Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength and hope with each other, that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. There are no dues or fees for AA membership. We are self-supporting through our own contributions. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organisation or institution, does not wish to engage in any controversy, neither endorses nor opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. And if I were to share it in a different way, which is to say that's what AA is not involved in, but it means that there can be an affiliation in this way, which is any member can be allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organisation or institution, can engage in any controversy, and also can endorse or oppose any cause. So what I'm saying is we are unique and authentic when we go into AA, and our lives remain unique and authentic to us. And some people feel that maybe the 12 steps offers dogmatic outlooks. All I've ever found is that people become stronger in their personality and understanding the world, and want to share their experience, strength and hope, which is unique and authentic to them. So what you hear here is my unique, authentic and wisdom learned from either other people or things I've learned along the way. So the primary purpose for me is to stay sober one day at a time. And how do I do that? In fellowship with a society, not an organisation which can fix anything. AA cannot fix a thing. We can fix maybe how we are today, our choices, as long as we keep sober and make a good decision here and there as we go along, and not try and rule the world. I guess in the past, fear, brave facing and ego were very strong in me, and I believed I could be anything, and I still believe I could be anything, within the understanding of our human limits, I guess. And I don't know what those limits are right now, but that's where I'm at. So Powerless is the first step. And the first step of AA, one, we admitted we are powerless over alcohol, that our lives have become unmanageable. And anybody who's been caught in the trap of dependence, either on substance or behaviour, be it alcohol, drugs or whatever it is, the gift is if we understand that we have become powerless, and that if we take a drink or a substance or continue behaviour, we're still going round in the same old mad way that we did before. So powerlessness is a key theme, the starting point, if you like, to recovery, and remaining in recovery as long as we wish to, and make those choices. And we often make the choices based on our outlook at the moment of any change. So this book here, The 12 Steps and 12 Traditions, is key because it gives an outlook or an understanding of each step. And I would like to just share the first paragraph of step 1. If I can find it. Here we go. Step 1. We admitted we were powerless over alcohol, that our lives had become unmanageable. Who cares to admit complete defeat? Practically no one, of course. Every natural instinct cries out against the idea of personal powerlessness. It is truly awful to admit that, glass in hand, we have warped our minds into such an obsession for destructive drinking that only an act of providence can remove it from us. And for me, the act of providence, I guess, was a cold January morning some years back when I opened the curtains, and there it was, the world out there was bright and shiny and the sun was out. And inside I'd been in a basement flat on my own, drinking myself to oblivion, and hoping every day not to wake up, or not to wake up to the same old tune I'd been playing for some years before, and that was to drink and drink and drink and find oblivion, and try and take myself out of the picture completely. And that, driven mad, is, I guess, where I was. Insane behaviour, to keep on drinking to the exclusion of all else, to have been hospitalised because of it, to have lost friends because of it, to have lost partners because of it, not to be able to relate to my family, society or community, and eventually it got me in the gutter, or certainly homeless, and still judging the world harshly by old standards, and my inability to understand exactly what was wrong with me. So where am I now? Well, a few years further on, understanding that I am powerless on a daily basis. And what I understand by powerlessness is I'm powerless over people, places and things, and noises in the background. What I am powerless over is, once I start drinking, I cannot stop, because I get back into the same old rut. So if I remain sober, I can find a way to make life manageable on a daily basis. And I do that by understanding powerless is over people, places and things. I can make choices around people, places and things, and I can negotiate my connection to people, places and things, as long as I'm sober. Take away the sober bit, and then the whole lot caves in yet again. So it's not too difficult to understand that, with glass in hand, life does turn very sour very quickly if I decide again to drink. And the problem with a disease which wants me dead is that it's always around the corner. Life can trip me up, and I need to be careful. So what helps me do that? I go to fellowship meetings, and fellowship meetings are simply where we hear experience, strength and hope. We hear about the 12 steps of recovery. We hear about the 12 traditions which hold the whole fellowship together. And we make our personal choices about how we live. We remain unique, authentic people. And one of my resolutions this year is to do less more thoroughly, and not try and spread myself so thin that I never have time to relax, never have time to take a moment to reflect on my life and where it is. So it's very easy in sobriety. There's a big gap in our lives. We have no drink inside us, and when drink has become 24/7, or is big binging, or it's about blackout, we have big gaps in time, and those times were forgotten when drinking. But when we are sober, we also have big gaps in our understanding of life and how to live it. It's almost like starting afresh, day one, sorting out our emotional, spiritual and physical condition. So physical, without a drink I'm better off. I now have diabetes, not as a result of my drinking, but as a result of a tooth being extracted, an infection, a virus or whatever, a sudden shock to the system. And the gift is I'm not old enough and sober enough to deal with that. And the other thing, well, other things will have to wait for another time. I've run out just now. Anyway, as things stand, I like the serenity prayer. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference, simply on a daily basis.